Konami decided to upgrade Branded once again, making the deck both more fun but also more toxic. So in this video we'll go over how to perform the lock combos, discuss other suitable targets, but we'll also go over how to prevent the lock from happening. So join me in a deep dive of the upgraded Branded. PS, timestamps to the mentioned topics can be found below. And we'll start with a rather generic opening, as you can stack a lot of search cards to get into this line. A small note, we'll perform this combo with Kit and an additional card. Aluber will obviously be better. Begin by normal summoning the Kit, and use her effect to grab Branded Fusion by shuffling back a card. Then we'll activate the Branded Fusion to fusion summon our white Albion the Sanctifire Dragon by dumping Albaz and a light spellcaster. Dump Cartesia if you run 2, which is preferred. Next we'll special summon the Cartesia from our hand as we now control an Albaz fusion monster. Then we'll quick effect fusion with Cartesia's effect to summon Grangwignall with herself and Kit. On summon of Grangwignall we'll dump the Gimmick Puppet. Make sure to put the toggle to on, before ending our turn. During opponent's turn, already in the draw phase, we'll activate Sanctifier to special Gimmick Puppet and Albaz. Then we can use Albaz effect, discarding one card, to fuse with the puppet into Lubellion, or another fusion. And if we'd spare another card, we can go into Mirror Jade via Lubellion for a banish. But another discard is needed. But if we decide to not run the puppet, we can send a different monster with the Grangwignall. Then during opponent's draw phase, we will again activate Sanctifier to special summon our different monster, and Aluber. Going for Aluber on our field ensures we will have follow-up. Then we're going to look at 2 combos utilizing our new guide, Quem the Virtuous. We'll first try to find our way to Quem and do this via Branded opening, discarding the puppet in our hand. On summon we'll use her effect to send Cartesia to the grave. Then we'll normal summon Aluber, and grab Branded Fusion. Then we'll activate Branded Fusion sending Albaz and the Bystial Lubellion to summon Red Albion. This will trigger both Albion and Quem. With Albion we'll summon Sanctifier. And with Quem we'll reborn the Cartesia. Next we'll tribute Red Albion with the Bystial Lubellion to special summon it. Then we'll use its on-field effect to place Branded Lost onto our field. This will be the best moment to activate Cartesia to fuse into Grangwignall using herself and Lubellion. On summon of Grangwignall we can use its effect to dump the puppet and use Lost to grab a Mercourier. Next we'll go to the end phase when both Red Albion and Cartesia will trigger. When you have no other suitable targets to reborn, don't activate Cartesia here. Obviously we do activate Albion to set Branded Retribution as additional protection. Then during the opponent's draw phase we'll use Sanctifier to reborn the puppet and Cartesia, or another great target when we have that. But Guiding Quem also works great in conjunction with the Bystial engine. Again we first have to look for Quem in our deck, but we have plenty of cards to do so. Once we have Quem we'll activate Lubellion to discard itself whilst grabbing Serener. Then we'll normal summon Quem and her effect to dump Mercourier. Now we'll special summon the Serener from our hand by banishing Mercourier. This is beneficial as when banished Mercourier can grab us Black Albion. Then we'll tribute the Serener with Lubellion's effect to special summon itself. This will trigger Serener allowing us to send Branded Retribution to the grave, and might as well use Lubellion to place Lost. Next we can activate Black Albion to send another Branded spell to the grave, and that means we could send Branded Fusion. But we already have that one in hand. As with Branded Retribution we can add to our hand the just send Branded spell, always giving us access to Branded Fusion. Then we'll activate Branded Fusion dumping Albaz and Cartesia to go into Red Albion. This will give us the opportunity to chain a couple effects. So with Quem we'll special summon Cartesia from our grave. With Lost we'll grab another Mercourier, and with Albion we'll summon Sanctifier with Albaz and Quem. Next, with Cartesia, we'll fusion summon the Granny Dragon by using herself and Albion. And on summon, we'll send the puppet to our grave, before moving to the end phase. Then during the end phase, we can set any branded spell or trap with Albion, and as an example, we'll set Branded Banishment. During the opponent's draw phase, we can again use Sanctifier to summon the puppet, but can also activate Banishment to eventually summon a Dragostapelia. In the meantime, we are getting so much advantage as Lost will trigger once again. But with the addition of the new cards, we can also perform the lock by starting with just a single card. So we'll activate Nadir Servant and send Bucephalus II to the grave to add Dogmatica Maximus. This will trigger Bucephalus to send Brigand from the extra deck to the grave. Then we'll special summon the Maximus from our hand by banishing Bucephalus, before using its effect to dump Liliawalleth and Red Albion to our grave. And when we go to the end phase, we'll have a couple triggers. Brigand will summon Albaz from our deck. Lulu will summon Cartesia, and Albion will set Branded in red. Then during the opponent's main phase, we will activate Cartesia to special summon the Granny Dragon with it, and Albaz. As we've seen before, the Granny will send the puppet to the grave, so we can use Branded in red to special summon Sanctifier with the added Albaz and Maximus. And when on the field, we can use its quick effect to special summon the puppet and Cartesia. This combo is somewhat weaker in comparison with the others, as we need to wait for the main phase to do our lines, but it all starts from a single Nadir Servant. If Gimmick Puppet Nightmare gets banned in the future, and in my opinion it should be banned, as its lingering effect is too toxic, here are some other suitable targets that can be sent off of Grangwignall. YuGiOh, the Supreme Magical Force, who will lock your opponent out of any type of summons. DDD Vice King Requiem. When on the field, its owner can only special summon DDD monsters. Incantation Talismandra disallows the owner to special summon from the extra deck. Archlord Krystya locks both players from special summons, meaning that we can put it on our own field to protect it. And there are some other generic summon limitations. What could also be an option is to lock opponents out of certain spells or traps by using the likes of Jinzo and Invader of Darkness. Also, you could opt for other lock targets that are level 5 or lower, such as Jiaojin the Spiritualist, among others. If you want a video showcasing these cards, feel free to let me know in the comments, as I do need to be convinced to do it. Next, and maybe more important, how do we prevent this lock to begin with? And it is best to start by looking at how we can stop Albion the Sanctifire Dragon from summoning. Looking at the card, we notice the following: that it cannot be used as fusion material, so super polying it away will be kinda hard. Then the card states that your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, shutting down cards like Imperm. Next up, its main effect, to summon 2 monsters. This is a quick effect and can therefore be used in the opponent's draw phase, shutting down all non-quick effect counters. However, it can only summon monsters from the graveyard, so that leaves us with a battle plan. We are looking for quick play, aka spell speed 2 or higher, effects that can either banish the Gimmick Puppet or can non-target negate the Albion. Since Albion's special summon effect can be chained to our quick play effects, only use our effects as a response to Albion, and not the other way around, as Albion will have summoned the puppet before we could banish it, due to how chaining works in this game. Anyway, the first card that comes to mind is Called by the Grave, which, as we all know, will banish and negate a card from the opponent's grave, and can prevent the puppet from coming out. As a downside, it can be negated by Mercourier. Next up, Bestials, which can banish a light or dark monster from the opponent's grave and can target the puppet. This can be negated by both Mercourier and, since it special summons, Branded Retribution. To improve its effect, we could use it in the branded player's end phase to bait out the Mercourier before Retribution is online, as Mercourier only negates but does not destroy, so we keep the Bestial in hand for another disruption in our own turn. DD Crow is another similar and great option, with the added benefit that since it doesn't special summon, it cannot be negated by Retribution. However, due to the wording on the card, a negate by Mercourier will be devastating, as it will be discarded to the grave. Then some non-target negate cards, and hand traps such as Gamma and Bell work great. However, keep in mind that Gamma can be negated by both Mercourier and Retribution, while Spell can be negated by only Mercourier. Another great option is Forbidden Droplet, as it non-target negates, and when you send a monster from your hand as cost, the opponent cannot use their Mercourier. It also closes down my list, but if you have other options, feel free to share those in the comments below. Before going to the deck list, please let me know if you like this type of content by liking, commenting, and/or subscribing. It will help me out a ton, so thanks. Then lastly, the deck list. Since Branded is a very flexible deck after the addition of Quem, I will not post a screenshot of a deck list here. But in the comments you can find a link to a YuGiOh Pro deck list that I'll update according to the meta over the next few weeks. So if you want a meta-appropriate list, click on the link below. That leaves me to say, hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you need anything else to watch, let the YouTube algorithm introduce you to some videos that are put on your screen about now. Happy viewing!